Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. Today, we are going to be working in our little homestead here in the valley, because right as I logged back into the world, I noticed I don't have any more food, but I have all these potatoes, and I don't really want to wait around for these to smelt, so I figured we would go ahead and build our first auto smelter. I think I originally talked about putting this up in the storage facility over here, but I think we are actually going to build a separate building for it. For now, however, I do need just a little bit of food so I can have something to eat. I really should breed some more cows and kill them for food, but we will get around to that later. For now, I'll just stick with baked potatoes that will hold me over. And for the project today, we are going to need, what will we need? We need quite a bit of redstone items, although nothing in here actually, although maybe some rails. We need hoppers, which we should have plenty of iron. I know we have quite a bit in here, but it's been a while since I've been back to spawn. So let's run back there real quick and see how much we have. And it looks like we are doing pretty well for ourselves. Of course, I don't have a crafting table anywhere around here, so let me grab some wood from this birch tree. We will make a crafting table, just so we can consolidate this iron and take it all back with us at once. I'll grab a little bit of the poppies as well, but 3 stacks of iron blocks. We are doing pretty well for ourselves. So, as I said, this episode is going to be about making our smelting system. In the next episode, though, now that we have elytra, we need to make a creeper farm. So I think that's what we will do in the next episode. For now, let's make a bunch of hoppers. And I really need to get some more wood off camera between now and the next episode because we are running low. I'm not a huge fan of using up the cherry logs or even the oak logs for that matter. Great building resources there. Of course, if you remember from our house, we used multiple stacks of oak logs in that, so that was a very demanding build. But we'll go ahead and make 6 hoppers for now. That should be plenty. And we will build this. We really are getting crowded. It's my fault. I haven't extended our path anywhere yet, so we still need that. We have that on our radar, but we will go ahead and build this. How about we put it right back in this flat space right here? I think this is a nice spot for it. We can have that path come right through here past the sugarcane farm, and that will kind of lead us into what is becoming our more industrial area between the sugarcane farm and the bee farm, and now we are going to have a automatic smelter. So let's begin by, well, I'm gonna need a few furnaces. I also realized I'm probably going to need a lot more hoppers, so I made quite a few more of those. So 8 furnaces and 29 hoppers, which should be just plenty for us. I think we will have a few extra once we are finished, but we also need a lot of chests as well. Okay, 48 chests, 29 hoppers, and 8 furnaces. That should be plenty for us. I think, well, we will go ahead and start by filling in this creeper hole. Alright, there we go, and then we will just level out a spot for our floor. There we go. I think it's maybe 7 or 8. It looks like 7 by 12 on this one. For the floor, I'm using some polished deep slate. I take that back. I'm going with deep slate bricks. I think that fits really nicely with the whole theme of the smeltery. And we are actually going to build this from the inside out, so we will put the walls on after we get the furnaces in place. That way I can line everything up better and really make everything blend nicely. So I think the best way to do this will be to have a single output chest. That way we don't have to click through and open up every single chest when an item is finished smelting. So for this, we will have some hoppers going into it, and we will kind of turn these so that they are a couple blocks away from the chest. That way we can cover up these hoppers, and we will extend these across so that they are 8 blocks right here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then that leaves us with 2 on that side and 2 on that side, which is perfect. On top of all these hoppers, I think we will, I was going to say we could do chests, but since we are not clicking through each of them individually, we should just be able to put our furnaces directly on top of these without conflict. So once the items are finished smelting, they will drop right into the hopper and flow into this chest right here. And then we need the fuel system and the item input system. Of course, the fuel will go on the back and the item inputs on top. So that's how we're looking now. I'm going to put in some chests for, again, the fuel system, which will be here in the back, and the item inputs on top, which I'm going to do double chests for these, just in case we ever have a very large quantity of items that we need to smelt. So technically, with how it is, the automatic smelter is complete. We can put a item in here, fuel source in here, and it will output it into that chest. But I want to automate this one step further by having a minecart which will run over the top of these chests. I'm not going to do it for the fuel because of the amount of buckets, or excuse me, the amount of iron that we have, which we can turn into buckets. That will become apparent why I'm doing that here in a moment. But for now, let's get this track system so we can have a minecart, almost like a rail station right here, where the minecart chest will come down. It will stop right here. We can click a button which will send it after we load up our items. We can send that up to these chests on top of a row of hoppers which will feed into those chests. So I will need a few more hoppers. It looks like 5 more. So 5 more hoppers to go on the back, and then I made the minecart with a chest. There are a lot of mobs down here. I'm gonna have to do some digging to find out where they are, because I hear them, but I'm not seeing a cave entrance. I know we sealed up something somewhere along this mountain. Maybe that's where. I think it was on the other side, though. I'm not sure. We'll have to get down there and check out what all the chaos is all about. Anyway, I have the minecart now, so we need something for the track. I don't want to use deep slate bricks again, since we already used those. Do we have anything in here? No, it doesn't look like it. I think we'll opt for some polished diorite, just because it's going to have a really nice contrast with the floor and the furnaces and hoppers as well. So we will have a block right here. This is the block that will be powered with a button, and then we will have our powered rail right here. When that gets powered, the minecart will get sent up to the hoppers up top, and that should release some of the items. And then we will have this kind of staircase up, but as I was building this, I realized a problem here. This is going to need to be a lever instead of a button, because the items may not all unload on their first pass through, so we will just want that minecart to bounce back and forth as it unloads some of those items. For now, I will do some powered rails going up to the top, and then we will have some rails turning right here, and I will get a few more powered rails, one more here on the end, which will always be powered, and that will, oh, there goes our diorite block, and then that will always send the minecart back. Of course, at the same time, though, looking at this, I feel like we can do a better job of concealing this minecart. So I may have it wind back down from the backside, and then have it emerge right here. We may even go for a stair placed this way, just so it's a little cleaner of a look, but that's a lot nicer than that mess that we had before. And this is why I'm building it without the walls first, because I knew it would kind of get a little bit large as we built the structure itself up, so I wanted to make sure we didn't have too little or too much space. So let me go ahead and make some more powered rails, and we will work on the staircase that just kind of goes up here in the back. So I think we will start it right here, and then, well, it's going to have to be one more block over, and then it can just go up like this. And then we can just have a row of blocks across the back here. I think that would work well, and then the minecart can just turn once it gets to this end right here. We'll place the rest of the powered rails going in a straight line like this, and we will have our last powered rail right here at the end. Powered rail here, and then one more right before that turn, and I guess we have enough to fill in the rest of these spots up here with powered rails. So there shouldn't ever be any situation where the minecart gets stuck. We have kind of eliminated the need for all of that. Let me put in the rest of the track here. We will put a lever here on the front that will allow us to turn on and off to turn the system on and off, and then this one right here to power those. And those spiders are going crazy down there. We really do need to check that out. And right up here, we should just be able to throw a lever on the backside that should power everything up top. So now if we place down our minecart chest right here on this rail, of course right now it's not going to do anything. We can load in some chorus fruit. I guess that will work well. And flick the lever on, and then it will just go back and forth. Let's see if it unloaded everything. It looks like it did unload everything on its first pass through, which of course makes sense considering that there were only 9 items in there. But if we had, say, a stack of items in there, it would take a couple pass-throughs to load, but it looks like it goes pretty quickly. So we can go ahead and turn off the system just by flicking the lever. There we go. Now it is time for the fuel. Now, like I said, I'm just going to do the fuel manually, but there's a certain type of fuel that I kind of hinted to that I would be using. And of course, that fuel is a bucket of lava. If you've been playing Minecraft for a while, you know that a lava bucket will smelt, I think it's 100 items in a furnace. It is the best fuel source in my opinion, because now with the 1.18 update, I believe, maybe 1.17, lava is renewable, and for that we will need dripstone, which I can't keep track of apparently. Or maybe it's just that I don't have any, so I'm going to need to go out and get some. But with the combination of dripstone and cauldrons, we can put a lava source above that and get a renewable supply of lava, which will be used to fuel our system. Of course, with the amount of iron we have, I'm not concerned at all about buckets, and we do get the bucket back after it goes through that system. But yeah, I really don't have any dripstone, so let me see if I can go find some. Okay, the elytra is going on for this task because I don't think there's a dripstone cave super close by. So let's go ahead and throw our elytra on, which does have mending. I just wanted to double check that we had that. And we are going to head over in this direction because I feel like there might be some large dripstone caves right down here. How about that? That sure worked out nicely for us, and it looks like we are getting shot at. There's some redstone down there, a creeper. Of course, though, we are here for the dripstone. And we really shouldn't need all that much. I think a half stack is more than what we are going to need, so let's head back up. So I'm going to put this right behind the auto smelter, and we will just kind of have a second room where the fuel source is. So let me clear out a little bit more space back here. And I'm thinking we will have 16 cauldrons. We have 8 furnaces, so 16 cauldrons will get us 2 furnaces per cycle of lava dripping into a cauldron. So let me go ahead and make 16 cauldrons. 23, because why not? It barely made a dent in our iron, and I suppose we could extend the floor back as well. And while we are excavating all of this, I suppose we might as well see if we can find the culprit of all of these mob noises. Aha, there is a cave down there. So let me empty out my inventory just a little bit, and then we will head down there with some torches and get that all lit up. Uh-oh, I kind of figured that might happen. There we go. Problem solved. Although I'm not... You've got to be kidding me right now. You know, I was kind of thinking that this might be a possibility, but I really wasn't expecting that we would have a spawner right under our house. Basically. I know it's not directly under, but that would explain all of the spider problems. Well, how about that? So now we have a string farm right here. We don't have to go all the way down to where our zombie farm is, and 10 spider eyes from that right away, and a handful of string as well. So let's see what we have in these chests. I'm wondering if armor trims, it doesn't look like any armor trims spawn in here, though there are a couple saddles. That is nice, considering the fact that we have a decent amount of horses, and then some gunpowder as well. I can go ahead and grab that, and the redstone, and the string right now. I could even grab the rotten flesh as well. We can always give that to the cleric in exchange for some emeralds. But we will definitely come back here and turn this into a string farm. That's perfect, because it will be loaded in for a decent amount of the time. But for now, we need to stay focused, so let me finish up the floor back here and we will continue working on the fuel. So we will just have 2 rows of cauldrons, one maybe... Well, if we did one here, we could also do one right here, and these will be 8 across. Let me extend this all the way to the full length of the floor here. There we go. And we will just have these in line with the furnaces that we have right over there. Excellent. I think we'll go ahead and stick with the polished diorite. I think that is kind of working for us. So we will just build a platform right up here using that. And of course, we are going to need some barriers up here so that the lava doesn't go all over the place. So one down the middle and one on each side. So now we just need 16 buckets of lava, which we will get from the nether to pour in here, and then we will need a few more buckets after that so that we can evenly fill up all chests. I normally like to have about a row 9 buckets of lava per chest. We also need to place in the dripstone right above the cauldrons, which we can do right now. There we go, and maybe we will get some stairs underneath the perimeter right there. Is that going to fill up with water right now? I forgot dripstone drips water regardless of where it is. So we'll go ahead and grab some lava and stop that from happening. We'll just take some of this lava right down here by the swamp nether portal. And now we can just fill in on top of the dripstone with our lava buckets. And if we go down here, we should see instead of dripping water now, we are dripping lava. So those will start to fill up pretty soon. I'm just going to clear some of this grass here so that we don't have any brush fires starting. That would not be good. And it looks like we already have a cauldron that has filled up with lava, so I will go ahead and scoop that up, and we can go ahead and start filling in some of these chests. I forgot we have the chorus fruit in here, so we will get some popped chorus fruit from that. Of course, that will allow us to see how it works. Ignore the other items in here, and there we go. There's our popped chorus fruit. Do we eat this? Do we? Oh no, we turn that into blocks. That's what it is, the purple blocks. I'm not really sure if we will do any building with that or not. We will just have to see, maybe as an accent. But the system itself is pretty much up and running. We will have our access from over here on the side. We will be able to get back there and do any maintenance or anything like that we need to do. Now it's time to build the outer shell of this, of course avoiding any wood as we have lava right back here, a pretty large pool of it as well, so we're gonna stay away from wood for this structure. Of course, if it's not wood, then it's going to be stone bricks, so we can start placing these just around the edge here. And I think what we may actually end up doing is building up this hill just a little bit more, so it almost looks like the back of this structure is sort of buried in the side of this hill. I don't know that we will extend it all the way from over here, but at least have a little bit more gain in elevation right along this backside here. So let me carve out where the wall will be, and then we can do some work with the terraforming. And of course the front of this build is far enough away from the lava that we can use wood if we want to, and I think we will. Maybe some logs or some supports like that. But what we might actually do is turn this wall, maybe have it go 5 blocks in on each side, and then turn it so we have this little front entrance right here. I think that works well for us. We can even have a double door right in there and take out that dirt and replace it with some stone bricks and fill in the rest of this with the deep slate. And then of course we can put some windows on either side here. I think that's going to work really nicely for us. What I'm thinking here on the back is, since we don't really need to access up here, we will have this ceiling be a little bit lower, and we will sort of have this kind of like this design with the roof. We will have that right back here where it kind of goes up, but this front part, say maybe starting right here, will be a little bit taller, and that will kind of fill in the entire pattern here in the front. And maybe up here we can use a little bit more logs like how we have in our storage facility versus in the back, which will be all stone brick. And I haven't actually planned this build out in creative. It was a very spontaneous decision that I actually made right before the episode. So I haven't done any planning in creative, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but we will just sort of trust the process and see how it finishes once we are done. I will say one thing I would really like to find in the near future is an ancient city, because it would be really nice to get some swift sneak on our leggings here. That is probably, at least in my opinion, a builder's favorite enchantment to have. And for the roof, of course, obviously we can't do any wood, so I think we will actually fall back on the deep slate once again, and maybe just go for some normal deep slate slabs, nothing fancy like, oh my goodness, like polished deep slate or anything similar to that. I really don't know why I'm struggling so much today. So we'll throw some of these in the stone cutter. I was originally thinking deep slate stairs, but looking at this, I'm worried that it might get to be a little bit too tall, so we may opt for slabs instead. I think that will be just fine. So we'll just jump up here and start working on this. I'm still going to do the triangle though, it just won't be nearly as tall. Yeah, I think that is a perfect height for this back wall, and we will go in and just fill in the rest of it with some more stone brick. Perfect, and then this will just extend all the way across to this wall right here. And it looks like that is going to be the perfect height for this, and then we can just have this wall go across all the way to the other side. So that'll finish things off for the roof. We can step back and take a look at that. Again, I'm gonna just build up some more grass into the back of this and make it look more like it's part of the natural landscape. I ran out of dirt, but you kind of get the idea of how that is going to look. Now here in the front, we will just start with this back wall here. So from the back side, it's looking about like this, and then from the front like this, and I think that's actually a pretty good height for it. We don't necessarily need an entire second level for this. I'm just thinking something a little bit taller would be fine, just to make it feel a little bit more open on the inside. So let's get the corners built up here. And here in the front, I think we might go even taller. Not too much taller, but just a little bit to make this front area stand out. And we'll fly down and check this out. I think that's coming together quite nicely. Of course, it's going to need a few more accents here and there, but the overall structure of this is definitely coming along. So let's get up here now and check out the frame for this. I think we will just kind of go across the top again with our stone bricks and connect it here on the sides. There we go. As for the roof of this part, I haven't really thought about what we will do, but what I'm thinking is maybe a staircase going this way. So maybe something sort of like this. It's not too tall, it kind of goes in a different direction from that roof slope, and it's going to make a pretty cool shape once we get to that middle part. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this top roof real quick. Well, the roof is finished, and I'm pretty happy with how that has turned out. Of course, it almost looks like a house at the moment, but we will get some smokestacks on there, and I think we'll opt for iron bars for the windows just to make it look that much more industrial. And then, of course, here in the front, I'm not really sure what we're going to do with that region right up there. I don't want it to look too similar to our clock tower, but at the same time, I do want to follow a similar theme. That way, this all-stone building blends nicely into our world with the rest of the buildings that we have. So I need a little bit more stone brick, and then we will finish up the walls, get some windows on there, and I think we can just about call this build complete. So the doors will be 2 blocks tall, and then we'll do some upside down stairs above those. Right up here we will have a sort of big window, but not overly excessive. And then of course here on the sides as well, we will have a few more windows. I'm not going to do anything on these smaller sides, maybe up top, but not down below. There's not really enough space from the outside to fit a window in right there. So we will stick with this, and I think we will go 2 windows here, same thing over on this side. And then on these sides right here, I don't think we want any windows where the smelter itself is, so we will go ahead and cover that up, and then we can have a couple more windows right here. Maybe just 1 block wide windows, I'm thinking. We'll do something like that, and we'll get some iron bars put in there as well. What I might also do, we'll see how this looks, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe we will extend these slabs all the way around to the front. How does that look? It looks a little odd in my opinion, but I think we will go for it for now. It might grow on me, but we will see. We can always get rid of it if we don't like it. Maybe on this side we will have some larger windows just because we have a little more space inside of the structure. And then the iron bars for the windows. And hopefully this doesn't look too much like a prison, although with those in there I'm starting to think that maybe it does. So we may opt for some different windows there. Maybe we'll do the iron bars on the sides, but I think on the front it's not really working out for us all that well. I think fences would be a much better option than the iron bars, but that's okay. We'll leave them for now. I'll switch them between now and next episode. So now we need to do this front window here. So let me just build up a few blocks so we can access this, and we can fill in the rest of this space right here. Same thing on this side. And now I need more stone brick. So for this window, we'll just have it going across the bottom and across the top for now. I think we'll just go for one large window here in the middle, 2x4, and from a distance, I think that is going to work. Of course, it needs a lot more texturing. Maybe I will replace the corners with stone brick walls or do something like that. But now we can head up on the roof and get the last little portion of this put in. And again, similar but not identical to the clock tower, I think I'm just going to do slabs going all the way around on all four sides. And we will just have these meet in the very middle. So that's how that looks. Yeah, definitely like a jailhouse right now. It does need some color. It needs a little bit of detail in there. Maybe I will texture the walls similar to how I have textured the lower level of my house. Something like that. Of course, once we get some landscaping put in, it will look very nice. The very last thing I would like to do before we end this episode is just get a couple of smokestacks on the roof. For that, I think some polished andesite would be a good block for that. So we will start with just kind of a offset smokestack here in the back, and I may lose some of these slabs to the lava. That is okay. Oh, maybe not. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2. Perfect. And we'll just build these up to a reasonable height here. This one can be our very big smokestack, and then we can have a few smaller ones as well. I think maybe one more row here, and then a hay bale, a campfire in there, and that will go up pretty high. And then from the back, that's how that looks. It definitely looks a lot more industrial now. Let's get a few more smokestacks in here, just placed from these stairs, just single smokestacks, nothing too fancy here or anything like that. No campfires or anything, just a few more pillars of polished andesite. So let's fly onto the roof of the barn to step back and take a look at this. I kind of like that. Of course, the front window still needs a lot of work. There's a lot more work left to be done on this, but I really do like this side profile. It definitely has that very industrial and factory-like look that I was going for in the first place. And from the back, same thing again. It's got that very industrial look to it. So maybe sometime soon we will build a river perhaps, and we could put a water wheel on here. We could even turn this into a whole power plant. I heard those bees. I thought that was a mob approaching me or something. We could even turn this into a power plant later on if we wanted to. But the system is all set up. All these cauldrons should be full or just about full by now. So I can go ahead and load the fuel up into those chests, and we will pretty much be good to go with this. But that is where we are going to leave it for this episode of the Optimistic Survival series. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit that thumbs up button and be sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. We have a lot of work in the coming episodes. Of course, we need a creeper farm now that we have our elytra. And now that we have freed the end, killed the ender dragon, it's time to head back and start working on an Enderman XP farm, because our zombie XP farm just isn't going to cut it this late in the game. But that will be a little ways down the road. Of course, we still have quite a bit of work to do in our home here in the valley. Again, though, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye.